Hello there. Before looking at the handsets, I'd like to explain a bit about how two-way VHF radio works. Marine VHF was introduced onto ships in the early 1940s as it allowed talk between boats. Before that, the only way to get messages from ship to ship was using Morse code by keying out dots and dashes either by radio or with lights, and of course with several keystrokes for each letter, it was very slow. Today, the primary use for marine VHF is for safety at sea. Here in the UK, this is coordinated by the Coast Guard Service. If you get into trouble when afloat, you can call for help using channel 16. However, the focus of these sessions is limited to learning what we need at a club level, which is how to talk between boats and occasionally the beach. So, it doesn't cover anything like Mayday or Pan-Pan calls. Unlike a telephone, when using a VHF, before you talk, you have to press and hold a button, which allows the radio set to transmit. Some radios have this button labeled PTT, push to transmit. Two-way marine VHF is what is called half duplex. This means that communication is in one direction at a time. So while you are transmitting, you can't receive. It is also why, before you release the transmit button, you say over, at which point everyone who is listening knows the channel is open again. And of course, when you're transmitting, it's a public broadcast. Anybody in range and listening on the same channel as you can hear exactly what's being said. So, how far can you transmit? Generally, when talking between boats, the boats we are trying to contact aren't very far away. Marine VHF is regarded as line of sight. In other words, anything that gets in between you and the person receiving it can cause interference or a loss of signal. The dominant thing that affects range is the height of the aerial above the surface, and that's because radio waves don't bend around obstacles easily. A handheld radio in a small boat is only going to be about 1 meter above the surface, and the thing that's going to get in the way is the Earth. At a height of 1 meter, the range to the horizon is about 2 miles, more than enough for our needs. But if we were in an upright sailing boat with an aerial at the top of a mast at say 10 meters, the horizon is going to be about 6 miles away. So two similar boats could communicate over a distance of about 12 miles. Another factor affecting range is the transmit power. Handheld radios have a maximum power of 5 or 6 watts, which, providing you have the height, is enough for about 5 miles. I'll show you how we change the power setting in the next videos. The final thing is squelch. The squelch control filters weak, low power, and more distant signals, so that you can hear just the signals you want to. We are generally working at short range, so the squelch is set fairly high, which filters out all but the strongest signals. Anyhow, for us, if the other person can't hear you, then switch to high power or get a bit closer and try again. Finally, all the club's radios are 100% waterproof, and they also float. Having said that, if they do fall overboard, they are quite difficult to see from more than a few meters away, especially if it's choppy, so please be careful. In the next videos, we'll look in detail at all of the controls on each of the radio sets, and then in the final video, we'll start to talk about how you call and reply and the various special words that we use. Bye for now.